Welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory Update 6. And in the last episode, we completed the Space Elevator Phase 3 so that we could unlock Tier 7 and Tier 8. So in this episode, we need to focus on our first goal in Tier 7, which is Bauxite Refinement. So sit back, relax, and let's jump into it. So, in this episode, we're diving into building an aluminum manufacturing plant. And if you remember from our previous series that we did with Update 5, we're kind of up in the exact same location we were before. And so we're going to build the aluminum plant right out over this little body of water again here. Just because it does work out quite well. Because I know there's some bauxite up there that we can pull down for this manufacturing. And whatever other materials we will end up needing for making all of our aluminum stuff. So, but before we can dive into that, we are in serious need of more. Wow, we took him out in one shot. Ow. Apparently point blank range with the shatter rebar. That's the way to take somebody out. And my inventory's full. I can't pick up his carcass, but anyhow, we are in desperate need of more power. With great power comes great responsibility. No, we need to build some more coal burning plants. And we are going to pull a little bit of these coal nodes that we have over here. So we should have, what do we got right here? This should be a pure coal node here. And I believe we have another pure coal node right here as well. I'm going to end up taking at least one of these for being able to generate some more power. And then the other one will get used over in our aluminum manufacturing. But I'm just going to build our coal power plant just off the edge of this waterfall over here. But in the meantime, I got everything all set up for it because we're going to need this space for our water extractors. So let's get some power happening. Okay, to get things rolling here, we have laid out a Mark IV conveyor system. We have a Mark II miner over here that is overclocked 200% so that we can get 480 items per minute out of this. And this is generally to just increase the most amount of power we can get out of this one coal node with our Mark II miner. We don't have the Mark III miner yet. We're going to be working towards that, so now we're going to lay out our refineries to be able to handle that amount. I'm probably not going to go load balanced on this one. I'm thinking we are going to stick with, kind of just running with manifolds in here, just to kind of condense the size of this power plant. All right, so first things first, with building our coal power plant here, this larger one, is I've thrown in a smart splitter here. This is just going to stockpile some coal for me so that I have some to basically kind of pre-prime everything since we're doing this as a manifold build. I'm going to want to prime all these generators. So I'm going to have an overflow of some coal here. I've got the smart splitter set up that it always fills this container first, and then once this container is full, it will look after the rest of things. Now, this is only going to be, I will end up reversing this once we get the coal generators in place here. And there probably won't be anything else actually going in here because ideally I will have just the amount of generators we're going to need to be able to take the 480 items per minute that we have cruising along here right now. But that for now, it's just going into storage. So in the bottom here is where we're going to distribute our coal. And then there will be an opening at the top here that will, let's actually get up there. I will space out our coal generators so that I can run our water pipes all down through the middle here to distribute fluid to these generators because, of course, they need 50 water per minute. And, of course, we do have Mark II pipes now, so we can bring 600 water per minute up here for fluid delivery. So now, I just got to go back and get some more parts because I didn't bring enough to be able to build these. So I will go and grab those, and then we'll get the layout and figure out just how many of these generators we can place down here. All right, so the layout for 40 or 480 items per minute of coal is 32 coal generators. We got 16 per side, and I did line them up so that their coal inputs line up on these, just to make it a little bit easier to feed. And then, of course, unfortunately, then the water doesn't line up on all of them. It lines up on like basically every other one type thing. But so we get to bring in lots of water up this way, lots of coal up this way. This will generate, I think it's like 2.4 gigawatts worth of power. So it'll be a nice little addition to be able to boost our power, because right now we're just sitting, our utilization right now, we're just slightly over. Our max consumption is just slightly over what our max production is capable of doing. But our actual consumption, we still have a little bit of headway here. It's because not all of the things plugged in right now are running. But, you know, as we start adding some more things, this line's going to be creeping up. And as we start consuming more of our materials we're building, this yellow line will get closer to the blue line. So we need to just keep an eye on that. But adding another 2.5, I mean, that's a pretty significant boost that, you know, adds about another 40% worth of power to what we're already doing. And of course, the way I've got this built is it is scalable. So when I am capable of getting 780 items per minute when we get our Mark V conveyors, I can just continue this on, because it'll all be done off of splitters down here. I can just add more coal generators off this end to be able to extend this power plant out to be able to make more power for us. Okay, I now have the coal distribution all done. We've got these Mark I elevators that are all dropping down to the lower section. We have the 16 coal generators on this side, the 16 coal generators all down this side here that are now loading with coal. And it's just slowly building up here as we go. It's just Mark I that's feeding into them. How it looks from the bottom is we've got our Mark IV conveyor. It runs through, hits a splitter. We got Mark I conveyors running all the way along here. And bit by bit, it starts trickling down all the way to the end here. But of course, it does take some time for all of these to end up filling out. Have no fear, though. We are still working on building this, so all the coal will be in place by the time we're ready. Because now I need to work on getting our water distribution for these set up. And if we look at these, they do require 50 water per minute. So we'll be bringing up pipes that are 60 or 600 water per minute. So one of the pipes will be able to take care of 12 units. We'll be doing them in batches of 6 as we go. So 6 on each side. And we'll have a little bit of water left over, but it'll be all for future ability to expand this. So next is getting our water piping all situated and figuring out exactly how many water extractors we need. Okay, 15 water extractors in place, all pumping at 120 cubic meters per minute, which is 3 lines of 600 cubic meters per minute, which is a little bit more water than we need, but we're just kind of future-proofing us for being able to add more to this plant in the future. But we have all 32 coal generators now running at 100% efficiency, cooking away, making us some more power. So if we go head over to a power pole here and have a quick look at what we're doing, we are now sitting at just about 55 gigawatts of power. It's fluctuating a tiny little bit kind of as we're getting our fluid and stuff balancing out on these. So, and also that could be fluctuations over on our actual plastic, our fuel line, our fuel generators that we have is where we could be seeing some of this fluctuation that's happening. But generally we're sitting at like, I'm going to say around that 54 gigawatts of power. I think that we're pretty slow. Or sorry, 5.4 gigawatts of power, which is plenty to get started now with being able to make some more aluminum, or make some aluminum. We're going to build the aluminum plant just over here, same location we had before. for our aluminum plant. We're just going to do a little bit better job of getting it organized properly. And so now it's a matter of going out and finding our bauxite node and bringing the bauxite down here so we can get things started. So one thing that I kind of overlooked while we were going to get started on building our aluminum factory is I kind of overlooked the idea of, hey, you know what? I need to be able to actually do it. I didn't unlock the tier for it. So bauxite refinement, I haven't done yet. But also while I'm down here, I had to come down and grab some rubber for this so that I could go and turn that in. I did want to show you this is part of the MAM research and whatnot that I've been kind of chipping away at. I wanted to be able to make some smokeless powder. So I have a transportation route coming down here where I have a truck that is delivering in this pickup unit here black powder that I'm manufacturing way over on the far side over there. That black powder is then combined with heavy oil residue to be able to make smokeless powder. And that smokeless powder comes out all the way over here and into this container. We now have a stockpile of smokeless powder. So with that said, I am going to disconnect this now because this is why we've been having some power fluctuations. Is not all of my heavy oil residue has been going into our line to be able to make our fuel. So we're just going to go over to our logistics here and I'm going to click that back in place. Actually, I want to go with the one that actually shows the flow, which is this one. Okay, so that is now going to bring our heavy oil residue out of this. So we'll be able to start making our rubber again. That is going to make sure that... Oh, I just had an autosave in there, so a little lag spike. That's going to make sure that we have all the heavy oil residue we need to be able to keep our fuel generators running. So that should stabilize this power generation line. I mean, we're still seeing a little bit of fluctuation right now, but I think that's just waiting for this to catch up. I think we were starving out one or two of our fuel generators. So that is what has been contributing to that. So the other thing I need to do now is I need to track down that truck that's driving around and I need to cancel its route because I don't need any more black powder down here. We have tons of black powder. We have tons of smokeless powder. And I'm only using that just for the turn-ins there. So, but let's head up top now that we've got our rubber here and we can actually unlock bauxite refinement. Because we kind of need that to be able to search for the bauxite and get things flowing the way we want here. So we're cruising all the way up here over to our research. Tier 7, I've already loaded in the other components, so we've got our computers in here, we've got our heavy modular frames, we've got all of our motors. Now it's just a matter of throwing in a little bit of this rubber. And it looks like just a tiny bit more motors. And launch away. Now we can do the bauxite refinement.
Milestone reached. Quartz and...
So we'll be able to search now for bauxite. So if I go and click our little... There's bauxite right there, so we'll be able to search for it. And I'm assuming just about right about into that direction, right about there. I'm thinking we should hit a node pop up any second now. It's a ways out there, but it's over near where our black powder is being built. Oh, and hey, look, there's our truck. Bauxite right there, 1,689 meters away, 1,903 meters away, 1,673 meters away. So we do have lots of bauxite options. But I just noticed that truck was driving down this way. That means we're going to be able to get this truck and cancel its route as soon as it comes down here. We just need to be able to get in that truck when it shows up. And here it comes. Come get me, truck. So we've had this thing pathing back and forth, delivering our black powder. We're aboard now. And I believe it's hit the record window. And wow, we just drove straight off the edge. That's amazing. Why? Why did it just drive off the edge? I'm guessing if you jump into it when it's in a set path, that it totally breaks that path. So We're going to enable auto repilot. Nope. I'm going to delete its path. And I'm going to get out of this thing. And I'm actually going to get rid of the truck. And it is totally full of black powder. We'll have to come back for that black powder. Meanwhile, we got to kill this guy because, no thank you. I don't want to be dealing with him. Let's reload our blaster. And he's toast. Excellent. So, hey, don't jump into a truck while it's on its path because it totally gets confused and breaks. Which is interesting to know. I didn't know that. This is actually the first time I've ever attempted using trucks for anything. So that has been a whole new process, me getting used to how the trucks manipulate out here. So, but now that we've unlocked that, we've shut off that truck. We're not delivering any more black powder this way. Of course, we have a ton of black powder now. We'll be able to make nobelisks for days. So now I'm going to go find some bauxite, and we're going to get it out to where our aluminum plant is going to end up being built. So as we're traveling out this way to get closer to our bauxite nodes, right here is where our black powder manufacturing was taking place. So we're bringing in sulfur and we're bringing in coal. They were combining to make all of our black powder. And that was all being transported into this truck pickup here, which was being powered by coal for the fuel for the truck, as well as we've got a full storage here of black powder. And then I think there's even another full storage of black powder. Yeah, right in here too. So yeah, we're cooking for black powder. We're in totally good shape here. More than enough that we know what to deal with. So now it's a matter of finding, let's hit the V and search for our bauxite. We got to be getting pretty close to it now. I'm going to say 600 meters, 500 meters that way. We have bauxite, and 500 meters that way. So I think we'll head for this one over here, and hopefully we can kind of skirt around the outside of this gas cloud that's over here. However, we do have a gas mask now, so it's not as critical. But this is where I was pulling the coal from for our black powder. There's just a normal coal node chilling here. And yeah, we're going to keep finding, is once I get the bauxite, I'll get it transported back to where our aluminum factory is going to be. Okay, we're back out here at our lake that we're going to be building our aluminum plant. And I have brought our bauxite load, our line down here at 480 items per minute is what we're going to be dealing with for building our aluminum plant. Now we've got to figure out, okay, just how much equipment are we going to need to process 480 bauxite per minute? All right, so 480 bauxite per minute. If we look at our refineries making Alumina Solution, it requires 120 bauxite per minute to make 120 aluminum solution per minute. So that's going to be 4 refineries. We got 4 refineries lined up here, plus a lot more playing field out here for additional steps in this whole process. Because right now this is just Alumina Solution, and then we go into scrap aluminum, and then we go into an aluminum ingots, and then we go into alclad aluminum sheeting and aluminum casings, and eventually into heat sinks and cooling units and batteries. So this can be quite a large production area. But to start off with, our goal is the Alumina Solution. So I'm doing this in 2 tiers. We've got tier 1 down here. This is going to handle our water coming in to this setup. And then we, of course, are bringing our aluminum line down here, of which our bauxite line, of which I'm going to manifold distribute into these refineries to be able to process into our solution. So now I'm just going to get the bauxite hooked up to these and then work on getting some water pumps and everything all set up. Okay, I have our Alumina Solution line all set up and configured. So basically, we have 480 bauxite per minute coming down here, and it is being split off and sent into these refineries. These refineries then are combining water and bauxite to produce alumina solution and silica. So basically, what do we need? Each one of these needs, move a little closer here, 120 bauxite per minute plus 180 water per minute. So 180 water per minute times 4, it's 720 water per minute is what's required, which is 6 of these water pumps. But how do I get past the limit that the pipes are only capable of doing 600 cubic meters of water per minute? Well, that's easy. So I've got these two that are feeding in on this side, providing 240 cubic meters of fluid. And then I put a valve in here to stop any backflow. So all the fluid is flowing out this way. And then I have these the two far ones at the other end are the exact same thing. We have 240 cubic meters per minute that are coming out. They're hitting this little check valve and they're flowing in this way. And then we have these two bad boys that are another 240 combined cubic meters per minute that are feeding in with another little check valve to prevent backflow into the water pumps. So 240 coming in that way, that's going to get consumed by at least one and a bit on the second refinery. Then we have 240 coming in this way, that's being consumed by one and a little bit on this refinery. And then we have 240 feeding into the middle, which prioritizes to fill up these two, and then so on and so forth. So that is how we get past the limitations. Is I'm consuming 180 of the water that's coming in off this 240 that's over here, and I'm consuming 180 of the water that's coming in on this line, which leaves us enough room to be able to take this 240 line coming in here so that we're getting equal distribution. Now, we couldn't just pipe it all in from one end. We've had to basically spread it out, feeding in from both sides and feeding into the middle to kind of get past that. So the pipes themselves aren't really going to get any more than the 600 cubic meters that they're capable of because of how we've got this set up. So now, why is it not running right now? Well, it's because we've backed up. We've got alumina solution piled up here, and we have silica piled up here. So we can't make any more until we start pushing these materials back out of here. So if we were to, flush that or dump it. So I'm going to have to come up with a pipe system that runs that alumina solution out of here. And then the silica we need to move out of here as well too. That silica is going to be needed later. I think for now I might just dump it into an awesome sink until I figure out exactly what we're going to do with it, or at least a storage container, and then we'll go from there. I think what I'll do though for the alumina solution is I'm going to drop it back down through the floor. I want to try to keep all of the fluids on the lower level because it's just a little bit easier for dealing with our space requirements that we've got up here. Because you got to admit, I mean, this is keeping it nice and neat and tidy. Yeah, the pipes are a little bit spaghetti-like here with the way we've got them configured, but it's not terrible. It's easily managed and it's easy to maintain if there's any lines that are backed up. But as you can see, everything is full of water. Everything is getting pumped up the way it's supposed to, so we are good. We don't have any flow issues with our pipes. So now let's get the process in here to deal with the alumina solution to turn it into alumina scrap. Okay, so I have added on 2 more refineries here. These are going to take our alumina solution from down below. So we have our alumina solution. It's shooting down below here. And then they combine and go into these 2 refineries here. They are both calling for 240 alumina solution while we're making 480 right now. So that works out absolutely perfect. And then additionally, I am feeding in 240 coal per minute over from a normal node over there that I've got overclocked. with 2 power shards to be able to get 240 items per minute coming down. And then that's splitting equally into these two to be able to provide our input of what we need, which is Alumina Solution and coal. Output, we are getting 360 alumina or scrap aluminum per minute out of each one of these, and also we're getting 120 water. So first things first, we're going to deal with the scrap aluminum because we only have Mark 4 belts right now that are capable of doing 480 items per minute. Well, combined, we have 720 items per minute coming out of these two. So what did I do to be able to balance this out a little bit better? So I've taken this line out of this manufacturer here, this refinery here. This is 360 items per minute getting split 3 ways. 1, 2, and 3. So that means we have 120, 120, and 120. And I have those limited by Mark II belts and conveyors. These 2 elevators that are going up into this merger, one on this side and one on this side, that's combining to make 240 items per minute on that top conveyor. And then we're taking 120 items per minute off of this splitter. It's combining with this merger here with the 360 items per minute that are coming off of here to give us a total of 480 items per minute on this Mark IV conveyor that's here. So we have 2 lines of aluminum scrap that we're going to be able to deal with now to be able to start looking at making aluminum ingots. So, but that's how we've been able to take care of the aluminum scrap. Now, water. We're not dealing with the water yet. So currently right now, let me get back under here again. Slide under. There's 2 lines of 120 cubic meters per minute of water that are coming down. That's a waste product out of these refineries. And I have 1 exit out here. I'm going to take this water now, and I am going to go use it to make some copper ingots with the purified copper ingots alternate recipe. So that's what we're going to be using this water for, because we're going to need those copper ingots anyway. So that is why I chose copper as our option here, and I do have the alternate recipe for making the pure copper ingots. So this water's not going to waste, but it will definitely get consumed so it won't back up at all. So that's the plan for the exit water over there. Now, there is some silica happening over here. We have a total of, I believe, it's 200 silica per minute. Let's have a look here. Yes, we have 50 silica per minute coming off of each one of these refineries. Right now, that's not going anywhere, but we're going to need this silica as well. So for now, it's just sitting right here as an exit. So the next thing we need to work on, we've got our 6 refineries. 4 of them are making the Alumina Solution. 2 of them are making scrap aluminum. Now we need to convert that scrap aluminum into ingots. So let's get that process built. So in the plan to try to figure out what I was going to do with the scrap aluminum and get set up for making the aluminum ingots, I realized that in placing down the foundry here to be able to make the aluminum ingots, well, I need 90 per minute. Well, 90 per minute divides nicely into 360 items per minute as 4 foundries. So I don't need to do that funky little split and merger here to maximize the belt. I could just take 1 feed here of 360 items per minute and another feed here of 360 items per minute and combine to get those to to divide up amongst our, I mean, it's going to be 8 foundries that we have to put in here. So that's actually going to make product handling a little bit easier here. Is one of these refineries is going to take care of 4 foundries. The other one is going to take care of 4 more. And then, of course, we are not making enough silica for what we need, because each one of these requires 75 silica per minute. Well, we're only making a total of 400, and we need a total of, what, 3, 6, 600 silica per minute. So we need another 400 silica per minute. So we're going to have to find another quartz node that we can run over here to be able to make some more silica, which is fine. I mean, I kind of anticipated that. We just need to make sure that the silica coming off of these is priority. And the best way to do that is once we get all of the silica made that we need to get made, is any excess silica just gets dumped into an awesome sink so that it doesn't back up our refineries that are turning our bauxite into Alumina Solution. So let me continue with this layout. Okay, so that we're getting enough silica for our aluminum manufacturing, I came down here and I upgraded our node of quartz that we have here with 2 power shards to get us up to 480 items per minute coming off of it. And that is all getting loaded into, I want to say it's like 20 of these constructors here that are making our silica. One bank is all just getting dumped into an awesome sink for right now because it's making more than what we need, so that's all getting dumped into there. And then the other side is shooting off all back up that way because we need a total of 400 to combine with the 200 that we're making off of our Alumina Solution production. So that is going to combine to give us our total 600 silica. And now we'll go back and we'll have a look at our foundries and see how things turned out with our Alumina Solution and making our scrap aluminum. So let's go back and have a check that out. So FYI, in case you're wondering, the new, whatever you want to call it, the fuel, the biofuel that I was making over here cannot be used in the, oh wait, maybe if I select, no. I was hoping that maybe I could select F for it, but it doesn't look like you can use that fuel for your jetpack. So it's kind of useless as far as being able to fly around with, because I did grab some of this and then leapt off the side to see if maybe I would survive it, and it didn't go so well. So this doesn't seem to work with the jetpack. I don't think there's a way that I can tell it to. So it's, yeah, it is what it is. Let's, oh, actually clicked into the right window here so that I could get working. Okay. Let's have a look at this. Let's go to our inventory. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to... Jetpack allows a Pioneer to travel through, consumes fuel when used, automatically refills the fuel from the inventory when on the ground. Well, I have fuel. Well, I had fuel. I got this stuff. But it does jack. Like, it doesn't... It's not good. It doesn't work for you. Unless, of course, we can, like, drag it and drop it on, like, here. Nope, it just puts it on the ground. So, no, biofuel cannot be used in the jetpack. And an additional side note, I just came down here to see if maybe it would work with turbo fuel. Yeah, turbo fuel doesn't work for the jetpack. So you could just use regular fuel. So I'm going to actually take this line off. We're going to switch this recipe back over to regular packaged fuel. No, that's water. That's not what I want. I want this right here. And then we're going to bring our line back from here. Logistics. Mach 2. Nope, we're Mark 1, I think is what we're using here. Mark 1 pipes. Over to this, just so that we're making regular fuel again. Because I need some fuel for my jetpack, because my jetpack's kind of useless right now. So another little quick optimization that I did here for our refineries? No. Refineries that are making our Alumina Solution is I did have 6 water extractors hooked up here to be able to do this. And I'm like, why am I doing that? I could put like one down here, overclock it to the 180 cubic meters, and have it pump directly into our Alumina Solution production in the refinery. So then I just changed this out to 4 water extractors that are direct feeding each of the refineries. So we don't have any fluid store backup or shortage issues when it comes to water. Like it runs so much more efficiently. Now, from here, then we have the 2 refineries that are making our aluminum scrap. That's also producing some excess water. I needed to figure out what I was going to do with this water. I have 2 of them. That's 240 water per minute that I needed to be consuming. And to make alkyd aluminum sheeting, when we get to that point, we need copper for that. So what better to use that water for is making pure copper ingots. So I went out back here and I brought in a copper node and fed a crap ton of refineries here that are making pure copper ingots. We're taking half of these pure copper ingots, and for now they're just getting dumped into this awesome sink, and the other half of these pure copper ingots are getting dumped into that awesome sink. We're not using them yet because we're not actively making the alkyd aluminum sheeting. But nothing's getting backed up here. All the water is getting consumed, 100% of it. We got 120 cubic meters of water going in this side, and we got 120 cubic meters of water going in on the other side as well, and they meet up in the middle. So it keeps these refineries chugging along and processing all of this copper. Next, as we scooch along this way, so we're taking our scrap aluminum. That is all running into these 8 foundries that we have here, and we are combining them with silica to be able to make our aluminum ingots. So we are now making, we got 60, what? That's 120, 240, 480 items per minute of iron ingots are getting made. Now, for now, because we haven't got to manufacturing anything with that yet, all of it is just getting dumped into an awesome sink, and we're working away at getting some more tickets. I did just spend a bunch of tickets, so if we look over in my little menu here, I think it's all in now in foundations and walls and architecture. All the foundations, I bought all the foundations. I think all the walls are bought now. Architecture, here we are. We've got frame floors, glass frame foundations, framed ramps. We purchased all that. We've got the pillars done now as well too. So we got concrete and metal pillars available to us. We got all of our staircases. We got our catwalks now available to us. Some additional catwalk stairs and whatnot. We got all kinds of goodies here to work to help beautify our factory as we plug along. But so we are now fully functioning, making our aluminum ingots. Nothing's getting backed up. Everything's being fired away. We have all of that excess, remember that excess silica, the 400 silica per minute? That is all feeding in down under here. And then that is combining, like we've got it fed into a little manifold here. And then it's combining with the 200 that's coming off of our refineries for making our Alumina Solution. That's all getting fed in. And then I did put a little bit of an overflow here that if anything does back up, the silica just gets fired into an awesome sink, and it's not going to be an issue and cause our entire aluminum factory to shut down. Awesome sinks, very important when you're dealing with things that if you back them up, it will completely break all of your production lines. So take advantage of them, grab the awesome sinks, and keep your factory flowing. Downside is now we're starting to creep up in our power usage again. So there is another pure coal node over there. I might just add another production somewhere over here for being able to make more coal power. Yeah, we could probably get another 5.4 gigawatts of coal power over there. But for now, we're going to call this the end of this episode. I think we did a fantastic job pulling out the aluminum and getting that all done. So that's the first milestone completed in Tier 7. So with that said, guys, reach down, hit the like button on the video. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Feel free to leave a comment. on how you're thinking this Update 6 is. At the time that I finished recording this episode, Update 7 is now in experimental. It is technically available. They launched it, I want to say 2 days ago in experimental. I have not upgraded to experimental yet, but I will before the next episode. So by the time you see the next episode of this, we are going to be in Update 7, which is going to get us blueprints, which is fantastic because it's not going to be long before we get our Mark V conveyors and our Mark III miners, and we're going to have to upgrade all of our production facilities again. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next episode.